Hi everyone! Today we are going to do a very fun and interesting problem on Math Series problem number 4. So let's go ahead and get started. Two 3-digit numbers are made using 6 different digits. The first digit of the second number is twice the last digit of the first number. What is the smallest possible sum of two such numbers? Okay, so first let's look at what the question's asking us. So we know that there are two numbers we have to consider 6 different digits. So what we can do is that we can make it like this: A, B, C plus D, E, F. Each letter is a variable that stands for an unknown number. Okay, so next we have to consider that the first digit of the second number is twice the last digit of the first number. So C, which is the last digit of the first number, is less than D, which is the first digit of the second number. So we know that the second number's first digit is twice the last digit of the first number. So C times 2 would equal D. So now that we know this, it's important to think of what we can do to replace D and what we can't do. So we know that D cannot equal 6 because looking at these answer choices, the first digit of each sum is 5 and 6 is more than 5. So because the sum's first digit has to be equal to 5. Since the D can't be 6, the options left for C and D are C can equal 2 and D can equal 4, since 4 is twice as big as 2. Or C can equal 1 and D can equal 2 because 2 is twice as big as 1. So let's try both ways first. So let's try C equals 2 and D equals 4 first. Okay, so we would replace C and D with 2 and 4. So here we have AB2 plus 4EF. So now that we have this, we need to fill in the other smallest numbers into the other ones. So A and B and E and F. We need to find out what numbers we can use for that. So what we can do is that since we know that D equals 4 now, A, which is the first digit of the first number, has to equal 1 because together they will both equal 5, which is the beginning of the sum of these answer choices. So now that we know that A should equal 1, next let's look at B and E. So we know the next biggest numbers after 1 and 2 is 3. And we haven't used 3, we've only used 4. So we can replace B with 0, since we also didn't use 0, and E with 3. So now we know that 0 plus 3 equals 3. So far we have 5 and 3. Okay, so next, one thing to point out is that it doesn't matter which way it is. B can be 3 and E can be 0 because anyways we're still getting the same total, which is 3. So next, let's look at F. F is the one remaining. So we've totally used 1, 4, 3, and 0, and 2. So, the next biggest number would be 5. So we would use 5 as F and plug in that. So, now that we add these up, it equals 537 because 2 plus 5 is 7, which gives us the last digit of our sum. So we know that this is the answer if we place C as 2 and D as 4, but we're not done yet. We need to check out the other way, replacing C as 1 and D as 2. So, now we can see that C is replaced as 1 and D is replaced as 2. So, the next biggest numbers are 3, 4, and 5. So we know that the first digit of the sum has to be 5, so A plus 2 has to be 5. And thus A needs to be 3. Okay, so now that A is 3, we need to find out what the other numbers can be. So 3 is used. So we know that we have the first digit of the sum equal to 5. Next, we see that B and E needs to be filled. So we used 1, 2, and 3. The next biggest number is 4, and we still haven't used 0. So we could plug in 0 for B and 4 for E, which gives us the middle digit of 4. Okay, lastly, we already know 1 is C, so C is 1, and that the next biggest number needs to be 5 because we've used 1, 2, 3, and 4. So F has to be 5. So 1 plus 5 is 6. So the last digit of the sum would be 6, which is giving us the answer 546. Now, if we look at both of these answers, we need to look back at the question too. It's asking the smallest possible sum of two such numbers. So which is smaller, 537 or 546? So we obviously know 537 is the smallest possible sum. So E is the answer. Thanks for watching Math Series problem number 4, and I'll see you in the next problem.